that we went through, who had success using at least one area of this business model? Yeah, so we went over a lot, and the biggest thing I can say is pick one and master that one area. So if you're doing farming at a high level, maybe add open houses to that, or if you're already doing open houses, add the prospecting to that open house. Because I know that whenever it feels really overwhelming, like you gotta do all of these things. Just add the prospecting to your open house so that you're not sitting there just waiting for people to walk in. That's going to help tremendously as far as adding new events to your needs. Each system is different. Some people really like open houses, some people like hammer in the phone. So whatever you're best at already, start there. You're good. You're really good on the phone, add prospecting to your open houses. And then just master that, have a plan for it, and have it on your calendar. It's the most important thing. And when it's time block for that, make sure you stick to your time.
Right? Where's our umbrella drinks?
All right, so we touched on the sphere plan, adding your 200 contacts. That's also super powerful because many people's transactions when they first get into the business come from people that they know. So make sure that you're adding all of those people into your database and that you're sending them an article of value. We went over open house plan and the best way to make sure that you're connecting with more than just people walking through the door and the best plan on that. So I'm going to talk about the internet lead gen plan a little bit more because we have some conversion rates that are going to be super helpful. So if you're not bothering them, make the call. Anybody who gives you their contact information is somebody that's expecting a phone call. I think we get so wrapped up with the do not call list and all of these scary things that are going out right now. Nothing's passed for the do not call list. And most of the systems that we're using for prospecting will filter that list anyway. So make sure that you're using the systems and that you're not afraid to contact those people. That you're the agent and it's our responsibility to connect with those people. And make it about them. It's not about us, it's about them. Make sure that you're mining for the people that are in your database first before you're looking for more leads. And then constantly adding those new bets. One of the most important things that we do every single week is we ask ourselves, how many new people have we connected with and added those people to our database that said, yes, at some point in the next 6 months to a year, we will want to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. When you're talking to a new person, no matter where they're coming from, that's a really good script to use too. Hey, it's Alexis at Keller Williams Realty. We just listed a property in your neighborhood, and we wanted to call and make sure that we let everybody in the neighborhood know that we just listed a property in the neighborhood. And just make sure that each of those people know that it's about to hit the market before it goes live. And the goal is to turn your database. So make sure that all of the people that you're connecting with are know that you're a skilled agent and that every single quarter that they're depending on the size of your database. So each of the people that are in your database need to know that your listing is active before it goes live. Then something I'd love to ask myself, instead of how will I make the next sale, ask yourself, who needs my help today? Oftentimes we get into a situation where we're constantly afraid of just asking, how are we going to actually help this person? And we are always asking, what's the next best thing that we can do? When we're calling the team, we have to ask them how we can. You have to be obsessed. Right now, it's so important. There's a lot of competition out there. Be a little bit weird. Be obsessed with being the best in your local market. It's actually a really cool picture, and it's really funny because we were having a call night, and you have to sometimes just laugh it off, have a good night, and just know that you're not going to win them all. 99% of people are probably going to say no. We only care most about the 2 yeses. So ask yourself daily, how can I stand out amongst the competition? Make a plan and stay with it. Know your numbers, check the market, summary, have the top 5 best properties on the market in your back pocket. RV garage, homes, all of the things that are top sellers. What are you doing in your downtime to prepare? This is a really important thing that I've always been passionate about. When I first started, I was 22, so I had hardly any experience. I was super young. I was the youngest person in my market at the time. And I would go to the gym at 4:30 in the morning, and I would just listen and then these listing presentation over and over and over again, because we had to recite it to a T. So if you guys have something that you follow and you have a resource that you use, memorize the listing presentation first, because buyers are going to come. If you have that listing, buyers are going to. And instead of just farming it, you constantly looking for buyers. He who has the listing controls it. So the best thing you can do is constantly be looking for those listings. That's so super important, no matter how much inventory. So what are you doing to stand out? Practice your scripts, know your listing presentation, know your value add. Memorize your listing presentation and master it when delivering it to sellers. If you don't have one, you can text me. We actually have a fillable listing presentation that we can email you, so if you are interested. Listings bring new buyers and will allow you to set open houses and quickly double at your own business. So master your list presentation is way more important than just focusing on buyers. While buyers will get paid quicker, listings will give you a continuous funnel and also get your name out there as long as you're marketing yourself. So make sure that you're consistently with people on that grid around those things. Don't rely solely on AI to do the job. One of the hardest things that people do when they get CRM is don't put his contact information in there and then leave behind a address and then never follow it. So the most important thing is that's a tool. It's not replacing it. A lot of times we get so comfortable, and I'm guilty of it too, where I will just leave them on that drip and I'll forget to follow up with certain people. I'm going to be recategorizing them all. So make sure that you're following up with the right people at the right time. So these are important steps that I pulled, and I'll also send these slides to you guys. How many calls is it actually? This is something that took me a while over the last 2 years to figure out. How many dials does it actually take, and how many contacts does it actually take, and connects to get to. So it's called dials to a connect or a pre-existing lead. 20 contacts per day equals 1 appointment. And the average is 2 for every year. So if you already have this just down, 20 contacts per day, we're getting 1 appointment consistent. 200 dials equals 20 PMs. And 2 closings per month is 2 appointments in today's market. So I know that sounds like a lot, but if you're using a dialer and you're consistent, it's not going to be an issue. So make sure that you're using those dialers. It'll help make these calls so much more simple, and it'll integrate it into the schedule and make it a part of your daily habits. I always say if you're not somebody that likes to sit and call, let's start with 50 a day. And if you make that a part of your habit, you do 50 calls a day, chances are those people are going to be really high, right? Because they're going to be looking forward to the value. So just look at it as I'm providing value to the people that already know me. And there's nothing better when you make those calls and they answer and they're like, "Hi," and they actually know your name, right? It feels so good when you're like, "Oh, you're making these calls," and they actually know who's calling them. So just don't think it's for nothing. We're in a resort town, and it just is the consistency of it and the number of new people you can add to it every single day. The average agent calls a lead twice and never calls them back again. And they say that was worked, or it was a bad lead, or they stopped answering. So on average, you're going to want to at least dial them 12 times, get them to a connect, and make sure that you have your script down pat when they connect. Because there's so many people that are looking actively that are in a pond or in your database that haven't been connected with in a while. So if you have a filter in your database that can state who hasn't been called in 30 days, some leads fall through the cracks when you have 5,000 or 6,000 or 10,000 leads in your database. Even if you have 600, it doesn't matter how many leads you have. And so many agents just focus on the size of their database and how many leads are in it. It doesn't matter. Like, what matters is, are you converting, right? So you want to turn the database. The most important asset we have as agents is your database. Because when you go to let's say you need to sell your business down the road, or you want to retire or something like that, it's a lot more valuable to say, "Hey, I've been in the business for 15 years, and here's access to my database," and get a referral from that. I've done that with a few agents that were getting out of the business here, and it's super powerful. It's a lot more powerful if the database is worked and actually, it's not just a big filter of names or a big database of names. So just look at your database as your largest asset in your business and treat it so. If you've got 20,000 leads just hanging out in your database, it's time to either hire a VA, go through them. A VA can go through and call all those people and recategorize your database for you. And that's the most powerful thing you can do to make sure that you're connecting with the right people and your system is working for you, not against you. Sometimes you can get to something, you're like, who do I call? So make sure you're using your database right now, especially with AI and how much AI powered tools there are. You can really leverage your database to be an assistant for you, save you tons of money having to hire one, if you're leveraging those tools correctly. So take the time to really dive in. The average agent pays thousands for new leads funneling through with an average of 0 to 2 calls to the leads that they already made. So don't be the average agent. Okay, this is super magic. So lead follow-up schedule, when to call certain people for the best results. Between 1 and 3 months out, you're every 7 days. 3 to 4 months, every 14 days. 5 to 8 months, you're 1 time a month call. 9 to 12 months, every 6 weeks. 1 year is 60 to 90 days, depending on the lead activity. And check market report equals that day. So if you have them on something that's lead generated or AI generated automatically, make sure that you're following up with the people that are raising their hand in real time. How many people have that as an option in their CRM? Most CRMs have it, where you have them on an automatic update. Okay, so if there's a way to check those people, start with them first, and then you can always find the people that haven't been connected with later and update them accordingly. Separate them from your main database that you're calling every day though, because you want to work those people first that are showing. All right, so we practice value scripts a lot within the team because there's so many leads that are just sitting on the fence right now, and they're out here looking, but there's just not a whole lot of motivation. So knowing the market data is the best place to start. We actually check that every Monday. We'll go over that as a team. We'll pull the summary. We'll know in real time, and it actually changes every week. So have that in your back pocket. Know your numbers. If you're brand new, your greatest asset is knowing the market like the back of your hand. So spend the time to really know what's happening in your local market and who your buyer clients are. Like, what demographic are you selling to? If you're selling to, the last 3 closings were, 550 and they were pool homes, then it's important to know that inventory, right? You can have 2 or 3 of the best ones in your back pocket, and there's 3 other people that may want that same house. So check the market data, call with something that they don't know. Oftentimes we'll make a sale by calling them and letting them know, hey, this is a 14-foot door with the 24-foot wide that we're looking for. Because oftentimes measurements aren't stated on Zillow, they're not stated on other platforms. It's very much hit or miss. And oftentimes we'll meet with a buyer and the garage list that they want to see does not fit their boat or their RV or anything that they're looking for. So it's important to be able to go that extra mile, find that information for your hot clients, and then send those opportunities to them individually. So call with something they don't know. Market stats, your personal listings. This was just an idea I had the other day. If you guys have listings yourself, make sure that you're sending those to your database. We do pitch that in Circle Prospect a lot, but we oftentimes forget to let our own database know about our own coming soon listings. So connect with your database first, let your clients know about it as well as people in the area. Local events. And obviously we always have something going on here. So know those events, call people and set it up accordingly. If people are coming out anyway, it's a great opportunity to meet for a buyer consultation and find out what they're for. It also builds motivation. We call probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks before Desert Storm, and we get a lot of appointments just because people are coming through and they're like, oh, yeah, we're gonna just stop at open houses. So we definitely want to have them here at your brokerage first, having a consultation before they've gone through events or having. So use local events to your advantage. Your value proposition. Now more than ever, it's super important that when you sit with somebody, you explain the why behind it. There's 6.5 months inventory, and I need to map these out for you, so you're not just aimlessly looking at properties when there's so many signs, right? So explain to them, like, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna map these out, we're gonna make sure the neighborhood is best for you, we're gonna make sure that all of the criteria is close to what you would need. And then we can tell you what the negotiation range is too, based on the days on market, adjustments, and anything that you would need to know to get prepared to list your house and buy here, and or buy a site. So know your value proposition. I think sometimes for me, it's easy to connect with somebody and we just automatically assume that they know what our job is. We have to instruct them. And it's so important right now. We were stuck in a low inventory market for so long. It's not low inventory anymore. So we do have a lot of value in meeting somebody, finding out what they want, and showing them the way of the best option for negotiation. Keep that in. So it's all about your mindset. You get the results that you think about. This is so true, and it's so important. Sometimes we go into it and we're like, oh man, it's a call night, and you're not looking forward to it. But if you change your mindset, you look at it as, this is going to be my business for the next three months, 6 months, 9 months down the road. It's exciting, and you change your mindset. And you also change your demeanor when you connect with somebody on the phone as well. So it's not a call day, it's a consult day. Get up here, smile at that. Who would you want to talk to? Preparation is key, and know who you're going to call the day. Be curious, ask thought-provoking questions. If they say, no, I'm not looking, say, oh, great. Did you find your perfect home, or did you put it on the shelf for now? I always like to dig a little bit deeper, because if they already bought, I don't want to keep calling that person. So just ask. Well, what made you stop looking? Did you stop looking because you bought already? And if they say yes, then great. If they say no, then say, great. When you were looking before, what were you looking for? A short-term rental opportunity or a full-time residence? Either way, it's going to get them back to, this is what I was looking for. So it'll help you update that and then get them back on track. I will also send these out. I know that we went over these last week. These are the most powerful questions that you could ever have in front of you. Again, letting them know and building rapport with other people right out the gate. This is also one thing I didn't touch on. This is good for new people, but it's also really good for your unqualified. So don't just use this as a new lead conversion script. It's also good for the people that are unqualified that you couldn't get a read on initially. So any type of motivation. What does it look like to be a top producer? There's 3 things: knowing what to say, which is scripts, having enough people to say it to, leads, and then saying it enough times. Those are the 3 things that will create consistency in your business. And if you don't know what to say, be really clear on what it is you're trying to accomplish. So if you're trying to find listings, be really, really good at what area you're going to use. It's going to be prospecting, if it's farming, there's a script for farming too. So be really clear on that script and make sure that it's actually penciled into your calendar. We often forget about the say it enough times part. The follow-up is so important, and that's truly where the goal is. And also what I found is it's okay to follow up the very next day. A lot of people wait a couple days, but call them the next day. It's out of sight, out of mind. Most people can't remember what they had for lunch yesterday. So it's okay to call them again. So what is true helpfulness? Telling the client what they need to know to make smart choices. Having honest conversations that build real trust. Guiding them to think clearly and ask make strong decisions. And then simplifying decisions through clarity and direction. This is so important because oftentimes we just let them browse and look on their own, and we don't really steer them in the right direction. And it is up to us to create the sale right now more than ever. Otherwise, they could just be aimlessly looking for an endless amount of time. We have some people in our database that have been looking for the last 5 years. And it's just constant. So we have to think about what are things that we can actually provide that will be super helpful for them and call about. Creating urgency with structure, not pressure. Offering timely insights that drive decisions. Being predictable, available, and highly effective. And then being a trusted advisor. thing I would always remember it, and will always continue to feel in my career, get comfortable being uncomfortable. And there's really no point in your career where you're not gonna feel uncomfortable anymore, you just get better at it. I'm sure Kayleen, you can probably attest to that too. You know, you get better at it. You're never comfortable though. And I think a lot of times people think I'm just gonna keep on working hard and then I'm gonna hit this plateau. The plateau is you're better. Like that's the plateau. But then you also get introduced to something else, you know, bigger shoes that you get to step in. So first it's an intention, then it's a behavior, then it's a habit, then it's a practice, then it's second nature, and then it's just simply who you are. So the best advice I can give on that is whatever you choose to do, make sure that you're consistent every single day. And even if you get some no's, that's building you up to get to the yes and getting more skill done. The Eisenhower matrix, one of my favorite ways to make decisions and save time. And it's important to be able to learn to say no. There's so many distractions we can have throughout the day. So urgent and important, do it now. Not urgent and important, schedule it. Urgent and not important, delegate it. Not urgent and not important, eliminate it. So definitely a great framework to use when you're mapping out the rest of your day.
The age 18, two for the way was more than anything. I was introduced and was
So I'm gonna open it up and any questions or anything that you guys have from this last week and you know, anything we can dive into that you guys got from last week, unless you hear your takeaways from that, and you can dive deeper into off of the 6 pillars. Back, you guys can give me from that, yeah. Can you explain how to build urgency without pressuring? Yeah, so building urgency without pressuring would be value. So if we see somebody that's searching in our database and we see that they're constantly looking, the best thing that we can do is call and we can provide the value around what it is they're searching. One of the best conversion strategies that we've had in our team has been finding those active leads and then finding those properties specific to them first, and then texting them right away. It's so important that you actually map those out and send it to them in real time. So that's the best thing that you can do there. Make sure that you're listening to your clients, mapping it out, and listening to their needs and sending them every single day. Even put it on our calendar every day to send specific ones to options. And then what other things did you guys get from the 6 pillars? Anything on open houses or anything like that? Prospecting?
I know, one of my agents had told me a couple, I think it was yesterday actually, that she took a lot away from her open houses. In the last class, just like being more aggressive and purposeful with it. She actually hosted an open house here in Havasu, the Bullhead area.
Yeah.
And she had a great turnout with getting everyone to sign in and leave their information, and just like having purposeful conversation with them to get more information out of them.
Yeah.
And then turn on the back.
Yeah, I think it's important that we have the tools already preset to get their information as they're walking through. It's easy to just let them walk through and toward the house, but we're in control of it. And if they're walking through the house, they can sign. And also there's different actually. I think the most important thing with all of this is that you have a plan on what you're the best at. Not everybody is good at the calls, not as much as they are face to face. So pick an area that does resonate best with you and your business and make sure that you're sprinkling that in what you're already bringing in. And make sure that you're calling and good texting. There's so many people that will shoot texts out and rely on a text back and just not. The best way to convert is to pick up the phone and.
But if they don't answer, do you leave a message or do you then shoot them a text?
It's a great question. So if it's in your database, then I would leave a message. I would be specific. I would dial a couple times first just to make sure that you try to get them on the phone before leaving that message. But I don't like to show my candidates. The best thing you can do is leave that message after the third time. And then also call them the different numbers. A lot of CRMs will have the office line number and then your first one. And don't be afraid to call them both, because a lot of people have an office line and a cell phone.
What advice do you have for new agents that don't have leads? Like, you're constantly just putting SOI into your CRM?
So I would really hammer the prospecting. Prospecting is super under leveraged right now, and there's a lot of fear behind it, but there shouldn't be any fear if you're providing value, especially with having listings about to hit the market. People want to know what's not available. Best thing you can do is be that area expert and call and say, hey, I have this about to hit the market, wanted you to have the first opportunity.
And you would say this to like family and friends?
Absolutely, yeah. Your most powerful tool as a new agent is the people in your phone. And very few people, I think people get so hung up on Sphere that they forget that Sphere is someone that might have met you once. It's okay, like you don't have to have a deep relationship with the person to have be in their Sphere. It could be your dentist, it could be your hairdresser, it could be anybody that knows you. And they'd be happy to use you if you ask. But we forget to ask the people that are already in our phone. And there's a non-pushy way to do that. You know, nobody wants to be wrapped up with an agent that isn't gonna call or follow up. So focus on your Sphere. There's lists that you can use in Google Drive, easily put them on that Google Drive and upload them into your CRM. All of those people, when you're new, and say, hey, I joined a top producing team, or I joined a top producing brokerage. They're in the area and I wanted to make sure that all my friends and family know, by the way, what are your plans this year? And just be direct about it, because people want to work with people they know. So don't be afraid to call your Sphere first. And then with open houses, make sure that you're marketing it a couple days prior. And don't be afraid to call everybody in that area. There's no shame in calling everybody in that whole entire neighborhood, because a lot of people will, the second they see that sign, they're gonna be checking their equity ads. Also, Zillow's been off quite a bit. So if somebody says that they have an idea of what it's worth, they don't. Right. Just get off the phone, like, it's all right, like to say, hey, you know, glad that we connected today, Michelle, I'm gonna actually, tell me about the upgrades you done. You know, just redirect the conversation. I think that's something that's really important too, is oftentimes the buyer tries to steer the ship. And oftentimes it's just like I said, go into that department store and we say we don't need help, but we really do. We know exactly what it is that we want, but we just don't want to be bothered or think about it at the moment. So it's the same with your buyers, and they're overwhelmed because they know that they want to buy a house, but they're scared it might not be the right time. They don't know what's going on, you know, with interest rates, things like that. So the best thing you can do is contact them and already have a strategy. What's the strategy? 5 to 8% off of negotiations right now on average across the market. If you're a really good negotiator, you can find those deals for them, get them back in the seat of looking. And that's what we're doing every day, pretty engaging. Also, where do you think that the people that are sitting in your database came from? They came from 2 years ago, 3 years ago. They were searching when the market was extraordinarily tough. There was nothing to choose from. And now there's enough to choose from. So that in and of itself, they need to know, hey, I could find that same house for you that you were searching for before, and probably get 5 to 8% off the basket. How amazing is that? And you can likely refi at the end of the year once interest rates adjust and have that much more in your pocket. That's really the best way to invest in Havasu right now. We didn't have that opportunity before for years. So don't let I would say, don't let the lead tell you what it is that they're trying to do. Call with the plan already in your back pocket. And it's really, if there's 300 people that were searching before, all 300 of those people need to know what the opportunities are for negotiating here right now. It's a great way to. Also, we have a lot of people that are trying to gauge adding a garage or a pool versus finding one pre-existing. That's a huge price difference, but how much is it built? $200,000 to $250,000 built right now, garage. So call with that plan and make sure that they can have that. Also, if you're a new agent, it's important to master some scripts. Have some basic objective handlers in your back pocket. You know, oftentimes a statement is confused for an objection, like I'm just looking. You know, great, glad that you landed on my website. What is it that you're looking for so I can send you a specific list? Since there's 6.5 months inventory, I want to make sure you get the best option. So really dig into criteria right now, dig into the adjustments that you've been making through negotiating. Those are great ways to re-engage. Are there a lot of people that call like their database in here, like really work their database and that's how they build their business, or is it really a lot of people that are focused on here? Or on referrals? And it's-
Fall with you.
Get a lot of calls, who do you call?
Brian,
And then are you constantly, are you paying for lead source or, okay, so you have your paid leads, are there other sources that you're adding to your CRM as well? I didn't know,
we used to sing, shout,
but I mean, obviously.
just like that.
Yeah, the way that we see it is every single person that owns a house here needs a good guide. So if you look at it from that perspective, and we look at it as, we want to help you, we want to make sure that you have a really good agent, it's okay to ask. So I think oftentimes new agents start off and they do all the right things, and then we just put all those basics to the wayside. So, you know, treat your business like you did when you were new, you'll be in trouble. Constantly adding people. We use Mojo, that's the best calling system, I've used a few others. It automatically scrubs the list for you, so you're not gonna have to worry about it. And you can do a neighborhood search, so like I said, within a mile or so radius, you know that you're calling everybody on that street. So, yeah.
How's your data? Is it
Good.
pretty good? Cause
Yeah.
I just canceled my Vulcan because it was terrible.
Yeah, I didn't do well with Vulcan either. We do really well with Mojo. I don't know what the difference is, how they're getting data, but we've always done well with it. And oftentimes it could be somebody that owned the property before, like a parent. So you can always just lean into it, you know, with the very basic, you know, the reason you're calling and then skip the name if you're unsure, or if it's like a man that answers instead of a woman, but it's a woman's name.
Hey,
Don't ever assume, because sometimes you get it wrong and it's awkward. But you know, the most important thing is don't just lean on one leg to stand on. You know, that's the most important thing in this generation right now is you want to make sure that you have a plan for each bucket. And if you are going to do it every day, that you stick to that plan and that time is time blocking every single day. So for us, and also around the time frame, same like I will send these slides out to everybody too, so you can put this in your database and anybody in there that's looking, you can categorize it the right way. Most important thing is everybody has a database, so go through and make sure that you're using that to your advantage and that you're really having those. In general. Yeah, so if I was me, that I hadn't talked to you for a long time, I would just reach out and call, so usually it's Alexis at Keller Williams. Hey, I know it's been a little while and you've been getting everything I've been sending. Wanted to follow up with my closest clients because there's 6.5 months inventory now, and I wanted to make sure you're getting the best options. Are you still looking for a part-time or a full-time resident here? Full-time residents. Oh yeah, that's definitely what we hear a lot. You know, actually, you know, if we have interest rates that are lower, then obviously that means the inventory is going lower as well. So we're never gonna have it at the same point where you're going to have in this magic market to where, you know, you've got low interest rates and, you know, inventory is cheaper. So 2 years ago, we had 65 houses on the market. Good news is we have so much folks running out and rates are going like just like this. So we're negotiating 6 to 8% off of asking. So are you still looking for a pool with a 40-foot garage?
Yeah, well, no, I've been getting what you're sending, but there's so much to go through. I don't have the time to really do all of the work.
Yeah, so I'm really glad that we connected today. I'm gonna send you the best properties on the market right now that match your interests, and then I'm gonna follow back up tomorrow. By the way, when you choose to purchase, are you gonna be using cash or using loan? You already have your pre-qual or? Great. I'm gonna send you the best options in the market. Follow back up tomorrow. So a lot of times whenever we connect with people, we forget to ask those questions, or we can hang up the phone before we can date. A lot of times, the best question you can ask somebody is when you were looking for, like anything in this whole class, remember that one thing. Cause when you talk to somebody and they say, no, I'm not listening anymore, they wanna hang up right away. So you have to kind of like disrupt that pattern really quick, right? Like they answer and immediately say, oh, PJ, no, I'm so glad we connected because the reason I'm calling is it's a different market than when you were looking before, and I know I. And you're redirecting that, you're changing. And instantly you can say, when you were looking before, was it for full-time, part-time? But always hypothetical, right? When you were gonna sell, when you were going to, and it's a super problem. So make sure you're constantly following up on the letter in the database, and providing that. The best way to get them back on your site is text them. I shift once they say, oh, that person didn't move forward up there. Or how to purchase, how to use. It's a really good question. So what I like to do is say, awesome, well, we have an amazing tool, and I'm sorry, I didn't follow up soon enough, but we do have some amazing tools that we like to keep our clients up to date on, and it goes out once a month just to keep you informed with your pathway. And that's the least I can do. I would just pose it like that, like, hey, the least I can do is keep you updated moving forward. What is the address that you purchased? And I'll send that out once a month to you to see what's sold in and around your street and keep up to date correctly. Send them something, guys. Here's the thing, people end up selling 1 to 2 years after they purchase the property. That's what you like to make sure that you're top of mind still, like you're 2 years down the road. The most important thing is you're looking at your business in long term. I think so many people are focused on the short term wins, they forget that you're gonna be in the business a while. If you're somebody with a long term mindset, you got a lot more to go. So these same people are gonna wanna sell, 3 years, 5 years, and their agent probably isn't gonna follow up. So, now you've re-engaged that for the future. I would also ask them if they have any friends or family. I still ask them for a referral, just like I would on a prospect call. Oftentimes people, once they call, if they purchased a couple months prior, their agent didn't follow up, and they say they have a friend, and they still get the referral because their agent didn't follow up after. So the most important thing you can do is after you close that sale, follow up with that client and see how their home purchase is. Make sure that you stay in touch with them. They don't want to feel like just forgot about them. Yeah. Cool. Is there any other questions or comments or anything? You guys have it all? Awesome. I hope that this was helpful. I know that was a lot of data in here, so I'm definitely gonna send all these slides to everybody in this room, so that way you guys can reflect back on everything I talked about, go over the plans that we had.
Do you have the, the scripts that you?
Yeah.
I don't know if we have.
I've got a couple of them, like the who, what, where, when, why, and how, like that one's a good one to know, and then the Benton ones, I can go grab those.
Yeah, I can email them, so I'm gonna email the slides and everything, I'll also email some of the scripts that we have, we may have some in Drive. But the most important tool is the questions, I hate trying to memorize super long scripts, best thing you can memorize is those questions, so use that framework, like I said, I had it printed out in front of me every single day when I was making calls when I was.
I actually have it printed out that much. It's not ordered, so.
Has it helped?
Well, I haven't actually used it yet because I just got it up there, but
Good.
I do have it up there.
Good. When you're taking notes in your database, make sure that you're using that as a framework too. Because when you go to connect with those people, you can pick back up. You already know where they're moving from, you have their criteria, and then you can pick up on the last three questions. Awesome.
We're gonna talk about TikTok and like social media.
So if we want to dive into social media, so I'm sure you guys have followed me on Facebook. A lot of it, the stuff that we do to stay top of mind on social media has been these sold posts. Most important thing on social media is that you have a brand and that you know what direction that you want to go and that it's consistent. So we use Canva for a lot of our templates. And then we just put our pending posts are always branded the same. So most important thing is it's consistent. So your pending ones need to look the same and have your information on it, and then have a certain calling to your market. So the reason I post these sold pictures is because after I close a sale, I'll add my past client on there. And then I'll send them a closing picture of both of them out front of the house, and then I'll post this. And a lot of my past clients engage on those photos. So if you had a good transaction, add them on social media, because they're always going to want to stay in touch with you.
Mm.
And it's a good way to passively say hi and message them as things happen to you.
Mm.
So the most important part with this is that you pick one thing that makes you stand out and that you're consistent every single time. But leverage social media with your clients. It's super underutilized. If you had a good transaction, make sure that you're adding yours. I'll show you guys a few of the templates that we use. And you can also actually pre-save them, so it's super easy to go in and drop your photo in there. You can also use these for marketing open houses and everything. So we use a lot of black and white just because it's easy to see online. So we'll have our logos on here, best features of the property if we're doing an open house. But AI actually very rarely picks these up if it's a professional picture. So I would say a lot less adsy posts that you would want to do, and a lot more real life, what are you doing in the moment? The best feedback that I get when I'm out in the field is if I post something, I'm walking through a house and I'm actually there at the house walking through. People want to see what you're doing day to day. So if you're doing a reel, something like that, wherever you're at, no matter what house I'm showing, if I'm showing on the weekend, I want people to know that I'm not just working the week during the week, that I'm available all the time. So these are great just to please your seller if they're on your social media, basically to show them, hey, we're not marketing your property, we're doing opens, we're doing reels and videos. But these actually don't get a whole lot of response from Facebook. These are just top of mind. Closed and sold pictures, whatever you choose to do, make sure that it's live. You know, sold picture with your clients is super powerful. Just make sure you get their permission before you post it, because you never know. So a sold picture with them, holding the sign, you transferring keys with them, getting a picture with your client. People want to see happy clients, and having those testimonials is the most powerful thing in your business. So the more you can post that, the better opportunity. Video is also extraordinarily underutilized. It's one of the best things you can do to stay top of mind on social media. So if you're doing a video on Facebook, you want it to be short and sweet. Very few people are going to watch it. When you're doing reels, make sure that it's about a minute and a half, and that it's consistent. Every single time you're at an open house, post a reel. And then videos, every single listing you have, you want to make sure that you're marketing that online and posting it on social media. The only long form videos that you should be posting outside of social media would be for like trainings and stuff like that for YouTube. But everything on social media should be short. And make sure that it's the same every single time. Also the green check marks, these are super powerful. It always stands out on social media, and people engage and at least see it a lot more. I took a John Sheppel class and it stood out that these are the most engaged emojis that stand out on any sales ad, or these green check marks. So we always use those every single post that we do. So anything that you're doing on social, make sure that it's the same consistently, and branding your team. I know that when you were saying that you were working on your social media, is there any areas that you were more focused on than others?
I just started doing marketing, but I just don't like it, but.
Yeah. And be strategic with it, you know, when you're there at a property, just keep it short and sweet. And then, pro tip, don't ever watch it. Like, once you get it done, just post it. Like, it's the best thing that I've ever decided to do. Make sure, just post it.
I was gonna say, I don't know if it's, so, I was talking to other agents, but I noticed Facebook now is telling me, hey, you know, over a minute, you're gonna be working much more, because don't get sent. This past week that I'm crazy, it's supposed to whether it's, personal or business. And it really makes, thought, 228, I don't know, they do the number.
Yeah, it's like,
Well, no, 228% is the more viewers and more people looking at it, and they're telling me just keep up and do over a minute. So as long as I do that over a minute, so I don't have to cater to each individual, but check that out, guys, because it's the first time that Facebook is so, hey, you're doing so well, keep it up over a minute. So you want to do that.
Yeah. Is that with reels specifically or?
Reels, when you post it or the Instagram, they connect. And it has, and people have, we can have something that whole, it's good people, and then also the buyers, but also people that we want to the longest time, actually comment, it's that,
Yeah.
So there is, I know.
So I double ended $950,000 listing because of a reel I put on Facebook. So it doesn't have to be super fancy. Like, you can easily just, there's actually a tool that you can get that on TikTok, and it's like, it sticks to the door and and it's a magnet, it holds your phone. So you don't have to have somebody holding the phone for you, and you can move it around. And it's super easy to shoot videos. But if you don't have anything fancy like that, I just stand in front of, any window, like a windowsill, and shoot it. Yeah. I don't know, it's downstairs, but.
it's got a little suction cup, but if you get like a gimbal or one of those like, the video from Penguin.
Yeah. So, like I said, they don't have to be super long. It's very much just taking, I follow the same structure that I do for my kids here. Pick for the best things in the open house, otherwise you're gonna be tripping over yourself on these videos all the
Did I
time.
move my phone?
So pick the top 4 best selling points on your property, and then keep it specific to that.
I have a friend in California, everyone who's when closes, he closes the phone, I'm like, we didn't really have. Every time you see the ice cream, and oh my God, he just sold another one.
So as you
Every
build,
single one.
as you build a presence on, so as you can see, guys, when I'm looking through here, it's very much a pattern. Like, you'll see every single thing on here is very strategized and it's a pattern. And it's all very similar. You're not gonna see me posting even a sign, like it's gonna be the same sign every single time. I will only order those signs. I've been branding myself with that same sign for years. So whatever that thing is, there's some people that brand themselves as that needed that wear sunglasses all the time. Like, it just takes, or suits, dresses up, whatever. Whatever it is though, don't like be the person that wears a suit one day and then sweats the next day. Like, it as your brand, and stick with it. Here's the video. That. Yeah, so
Kind of those little sticky things.
So I also use TikTok to edit all of my videos, and you can easily add music behind it and adjust it and edit it. And there's probably 4 points in this, and I did it the day of the open house, and somebody from Facebook just went through there and ended up buying the house. And there was this activity while I was walking through it too. He's like, he was so interested, and I'm like, where did she come from? Are you a neighbor? And he's like, no, she saw this video on Facebook. So just know that omnipresence is powerful, and it doesn't have to be perfect, guys. I've been doing this a long time, and I'm by no means perfect at it. I just do it because I know it's important. If you don't want to be a secret agent, there's so many tools that we can use at our fingertips now that no one is using, and because it's uncomfortable. But here's another pro tip: nobody sits and watches it. So post it. Nobody's gonna sit and watch it all the way through. If anything, they might scroll past it and be like, "Oh wow, this is question." Always in my feed. Like they just see the fact that you're out there working hard. And the video is the most important thing because it's active. Even if they scroll past it for a second, they'll catch a glimpse of you on a Saturday somewhere in a house working. So if you want to do
People like the hustler, like people like to see people hustle.
yeah, especially right now.
We see that a lot. When you hustle, like that's what it is.
Yeah.
You work and stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, and if you can use tools to keep you everywhere, why not do something? You know, and even if one that was bad, and one of people my superior actually reached out to me to help me fix it. But that's fair. That's good. You know?
And also to sprinkle in like personal stuff into your page too, cause like people like to see you actually like living, so you're not just like just focused on real estate, so. Like, they like to get to know you as a
Personal
person.
posts engage a lot of the people that have been following you for a long time, so it is important to just be transparent with yourself,
Mhm.
you know, yeah, that's. You, it's okay.
I posted my son's wedding this weekend, there's a picture of it. I had people come out of the woodwork say, hadn't talked to in like 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, so it's, now I can go back in, hey, it's okay, and then build a rapport with them again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was really, it was powerful, those, I had no idea, I'm like, okay.
You're like,
Oh, you gotta see that person since high school.
They all love the dress.
You know,
Yeah.
that's the dress, yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's important to do first.
yeah, the people that follow you want to know how you're doing. And sometimes we forget
I love your
on
dog
our,
one.
on our journey.
The little floaty.
Want to hear from us that already follow us. They, there's the power to check in, even if you haven't called a past client in 5 years, just be honest. Hey, it's Michelle, I wanted to call, because it's been a while and I was thinking about you guys, and I just wanted to call, see how you were doing.
Yeah.
How are you? How's the family? Never gonna hurt to check in people in an open, I wouldn't have for business on that call, but you can always re-engage that person.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then now send them genuine cards, you know, make sure that you're making them. And it's, I want to know that you bring them up.
And your pets, poster. Well, yeah.
Mhm.
I get, every weekend I get, you know, I do a Rowdy post every, either Saturday or Sunday or both. And everybody comments on Rowdy.
Hobbies, you know, if you have any hobbies, like, any tips you can give here in Madison, one of the biggest questions, believe it or not, is parents can grow, like, people are constantly asking, like, they think that nothing can grow here, I'm like, it's just people don't live here full time, like, they'll let you grow a lot of different things.
Stuff does grow here.
Yeah.
The neighbor around the corner, the little lemon tree, it was like crazy. Round here, people come up picking lemons off, like, no sign, don't pick my lemon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She did, I was like, you know.
yeah, just knowing what's happening in events, you know, posting what you're doing consistently, it's so powerful for your business. And it's super important you really and don't forget to send your stuff out. They want to hurry. You know, and your past clients are usually your source of. That you guys have it scheduled on there, and I'm sure you guys coming to class. I'm gonna send you all of these tools so you guys can reflect back on this, and of course, if anybody has any questions about any of these buckets or anything.
You.
Oh, yes, and last but not least, guys, if you can, I will email this to you guys. But anybody that does the assessor review for this class, we will return the favor. We will leave a 5-star review with a comment. And we also will go the extra mile and add you to a raffle that we're doing for a gift this month. We're adding all of our clients to that as well. So if you guys can, we will return the favor. Yeah, that. And if anybody has questions on any of this, please reach out. Yep, so that's all gonna be in the. Okay. So I can hold this time over. So nice to see you.
Oh, thank you. Like the past 3 months, my life has been kind of a planning and planning. And so now that someone like, I got to get back to work. No, I sold everything 5 years ago.
I know, I had to like zoom in on my.
Are you doing so?
Yeah. Yeah, it worked.
Okay, good.
Close in. I was like, my phone always.
Like, like, Zoom and here, and then.
I made on my own, and I saw all everything and. I have, between me and